Today, I want to talk about Gemini Notebook and recent changes and new artifacts that they can create. So if you're already familiar with Gemini Notebooks, you can skip ahead to the next section. If you haven't used Gemini Notebooks before or you need a quick refresher, I'll just kind of go through quickly how you get started and so that you can get up to speed and then just kind of follow along with the rest of the video. So first thing is you will want to go to notebook.google.com. You'll have to log into a Google account if you're not logged in somewhere else, and then you'll get to this page. And this is just basically your home page, and it will list out the different notebooks that you have. You'll have to either create a new notebook or go into an existing one. I'll go into an existing one to just be easier for everybody. And then once you're in your notebook, you'll have to add at least one source. You click on add sources here. If it's your first time in, this window will usually pop up automatically, and then you can upload files from your computer. You can upload from your Google Drive. You can add websites. You can add stuff from YouTube, etc. And then once you add sources, they will just be listed down here, and you'll have to have at least one checked. And then normally what you would do is you would come over here to the studio, and then you would make whichever artifacts you want, or you would go in the middle here and then chat with your sources. And what you can see here now is at the bottom of the chat section here, it has a little note here that Gemini Notebook just got smarter. Try asking to analyze your data and create charts. Basically, what happened behind the scenes is they changed the model that this uses, and I'm not sure if it's 3.5 Flash or 3.6 Flash. 3.6 is based off of 3.5, so either way, it's one of the new Flash models that brings a bunch of different capabilities. What we'll talk about in this video is you can create a bunch of different formats outside of what you can make in the studio over here. So in this notebook, this is basically a recipes notebook where I have a link here on, goes to a web page and it talks about how to make the perfect ribeye, and I have a bunch of different artifacts over here from infographics and other things that I made for the past couple of months and just kind of demonstrating different things. I heard that this feature is coming out a while ago, so what I did, what is this, June 9th, so almost a month ago, is I came in here and I asked to create an image. I put in here to kind of steer the model, so a .png of a properly cooked ribeye. If you're not familiar with Gemini Notebook, you can have different things created, and it's like, it wouldn't create images like this. Like, you couldn't just go in and say, hey, make me an image. You would have to go over here and then specifically like call out infographic, or you would have to pick one of these. So I expected this to fail. And it did. It was just like I asked it to create an image, and it's like I cannot directly generate or export standard image files like PNGs, and then however I can create an infographic, etc. That was expected. Then I logged in, today and saw this new note down here. So I put in the exact same prompt, and just like if you read up here, here's the old prompt, and here's the exact same prompt just almost a month later. This time it's a much different answer because it's a different model behind the scenes. So this time it actually worked, and I can expand here, and this kind of goes through its whole thinking process. And I mean, even this, when you used whichever model was in Gemini Notebook before, it didn't give you its chain of thought. You couldn't go through and kind of expand, and didn't have this thought section. Now it does because it's a newer model. So if you're interested, you can expand this and then go through and see exactly the process that it followed to create your image. I'll collapse that because I'm not really interested in that right now. And then again, I asked it for an image of a properly cooked ribeye because that's kind of the theme of this notebook. That's what it gave me. To be fair, I asked it for a PNG. It gave me a JPEG. But either way, it couldn't do either of those before, and this went through, and it has the description of the image that it made, and the image is right here. Let me expand that. So, I mean, I didn't really give it too much detail of what I wanted, so, I mean, that's fine. That looks like a ribeye and looks well cooked, so, I mean, I don't really have an issue with that, but this was not something that Gemini Notebook would do before. Like I said before, it was just like, I can't make something unless you pick one of these preset studio buttons. So for me, that brought up the question. It's like, well, okay, well, what else can you make? So I went into one of my other notebooks here. Which one was it? I think it was a demo. Yeah. So I went into a different notebook. I'm like, okay, well, what file types can you create? Because I mean, there's not a list here. I didn't really see anything in Google's documentation. So I was like, maybe if I just ask the model, and again, I can expand here and it'll list out its thought process. But I think the answer was pretty good, so I don't really need the thoughts here. This is probably not, oh, sorry. This is not a full list of what it can create. And I'll tell you why in a second. But I just asked it, what file types can you create? It has here PDFs, DOCX, which is Microsoft Word, PPTX, which is Microsoft PowerPoint, XLSX, which is Microsoft Excel, CSV, comma separated values, PNG, which is image file that I asked for. Creative images and illustrations. This isn't really a format. This is just the general category. I say that I know this isn't everything that it can create because in the other notebook, the image that it gave me was a JPEG.jpg, which is not in this list. So I know this isn't the entire list. To be fair, I don't know what the whole list is, but I know that, you know, PDF, DOCX, etc. These were not in there. It could not do these before. For some of these, if I had, let's say, a regular report, once the report was created, I could go and export that report as a docx. If I had a slide deck created, I could export the slide deck as a PPTX. But now I don't have to necessarily go in and create the studio artifact first. If I have my sources in here and I know that I want it to be, you know, whatever, I want it to be an Excel, you know, spreadsheet and a workbook, I don't have to go to the studio. I can just go to the chat area and then describe, like, select the sources that I want and then describe what I want in that workbook and ask it to export an XLSX, and then it will just put it over here just like it did for that JPEG. So this opens up a bunch of new possibilities for what you can do with your notebooks in here. So just think about it when you're in here next. And it's just like, if what you want is covered by these studio artifacts, I mean, absolutely use them. Like these are still really useful, and you can come in here, you can customize, you can do a bunch of things. But it's like, if you want something that you know is outside of what these can create, you can ask for it directly. And if you know, like, it might just be a faster process to just ask for a PDF in chat than to go in here and create a report and then export that report to, you know, doc, like maybe a Google Doc, and then from the Google Doc turn that into a PDF. Like, you can just get a PDF directly from here now. There are a ton of use cases, but just the key point here is that you can get a bunch of different formats from Gemini Notebook that you couldn't get before. So really quick recap, notebook.google.com, either create a notebook or go into an existing notebook, add at least one source, make sure at least one source is selected. And now in the chat section, so not the studio section, in the chat section, you can prompt it for multiple different formats that you could not prompt for before. And like I said, PDF, DOCX, PowerPoint, CSV, etc. Prompt it for that. It will hopefully give you that output in your studio output here. So definitely play around with that. It opens up a ton of possibilities. And I mean, Gemini Notebook was already pretty feature rich, but now this is a whole new list of features. So try that out. Thank you for watching. We will see you next time.